Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful February 2nd, Groundhog Day, here in beautiful Western Canada. Coming up, the CRUSTYCANUCK podcast, 1984, Part 2, Inflation, Depression, Censorship, what other else matters, of course, to the government, fear. All that and more coming up. Stay tuned.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me.
Aye, sir.
There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
This is the CRUSTYCANUCK podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on politics, social, economic issues, and life. Here's Crusty.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's CRUSTYCANUCK here, your host, ever so warm and thoughtful. And coming up here today, yes, 1984 Part 2, based on my last episode with Stephen Gilbert's infinite suggestions when it comes to censoring online media, all in the name of safety to thwart hate speech as we see it. And just a reminder, folks, listener and viewer discretion is advised. I do swear quite a bit. And this podcast is not meant for children, so don't say I didn't warn you. And if you do like hear what you see, please click like, subscribe, share this around. Don't forget to click that notification bell on the YouTube and subscribe today. What else can I say, folks? Please, if you like and hear what you see, do the magical thing. Share this around, comment, like, and let's keep the words out there for us independent folk in the name of this social dichotomy they call Canadian democracy. Anyway, carrying on. Yes. Fear, isolation, depression, question mark. And of course, how much more fear do we got to put up with this crap? In the headlines today, Mr. Justin Trudeau, potato puppet, sock boy aficionado, has announced that Novavax, a brand new company out of Montreal, might produce these vaccines for us all come this summer. So to me, that sounds pretty fucking shady, considering 6 months ago, the federal government more or less told all of us here that there's no facilities in Canada to make said vaccines. So they had to outsource to China and then outsource to Europe. And now both of these conglomerates cannot give Canada its vaccines on time and promptly, even though there were a lot of promises and a lot of slaps and tickles and ball scratches and taint twirling to procure said vaccines. And yet nothing's happened. So again, ladies and gentlemen, more fear and more lies coming at you based on the Canadian taxpayers and the fucking pigs at the trough. How else do I say it, ladies and gentlemen? Right? How else do I say it?
Join the Liberal Party of Canada. We'll tell you what to think, what to do, how to wipe, how to pick your nose, all in the name of safety.
And yet they're still plugging the whole safety issue and anti-hate speech rhetoric. Okay, so I call this 1984 Part 2 for a very, very, very valid reason. Okay, while all this pandemic issue is going on, the vaccine stuff not making surface, not coming true, basically, based on the stats and the suggestions and the ideas that were put forth many moons ago. Okay, they're still plugging this whole fucking censorship issue. Now, I'll explain again to my listeners out there. Now, I'm not trying to make you suck eggs and micromanage the situation here, but let's be realistic, okay? We're finding a bunch of politicians that want to sit and tell us what to think and what to do. And yes, of course, it lingers like 1984. Anytime a government office wants to stop you from saying something, okay, what are they trying to hide? Now, they're sitting there on one side saying, oh, we're trying to stop dissent when it comes to Canadian politics. Well, don't do dissentful things. Right? How many times have they been caught doing stupid shit, from SNC Lavalin to giving Loblaws millions of dollars, to giving MasterCard millions of dollars, to helping out the so-called less fortunate on the other side of the planet, when there are many, many less fortunates in this country that need help? Well beyond the CERB or the CEBA payments, well beyond basic fucking understanding when it comes to national news conferences, okay? Canadians of all colors and all creeds in this country need an assistance. Okay? Now, what still boggles my mind, and I've dwelled in this in my last episode, is that they're still locking down businesses. They're handing out tickets to people that want to open up their doors. They're handing out tickets to people that go to church and worship by their own means. Okay? They're handing out tickets to kids playing hockey. And recently, via the Rebel News, they've handed out tickets to a young girl that was trying to help out the homeless in Toronto. And yet we can't sit and discuss this like adults and try to find a viable solution, all in the name of safety and hate speech and dissent. Yes, heaven fucking forbid if we actually do something like adults and work together on something to bring proper unity to this country. And regardless of what party you ladies and gentlemen support, okay, the proof is in the pudding. And the problem is these fucking individuals are souring said pudding, okay, by putting more regulations, more red tape, and more nails and nuts into the mixture. Okay? So all the Stephen Gilberts out there, to all the Krista Freelands, to all the Justin Trudeaus, to all the Catherine McKennas, to all the Allegbras, to all the wankers out there, they're sitting there saying they're doing a great fucking job, guess again. Okay? Now I'll put more links and everything in the description for you to decide. And there is an article from the Calgary Herald a few weeks back, an old lieutenant colonel who has extensive training when it comes to emergency management and procurement. And he has quite a lot to say in regards to how this whole issue has been treated by our elected officials. And he's not just talking about Alberta or Ontario, he's talking Canada-wide. So you, my listeners, I highly suggest you read this article and formulate your own decision in regards to how this is being handled, right? And I'm not just going to try to toot his horn because he's ex-military, but after reading the article, he makes a lot of fucking sense. Honestly, how else do you say it, right? We live in an uncertain time, and yet all these people are weighing in with no real suggestion, no viable solution, other than promoting fear, right? The same idiots that brought you the whole OIC brand back in May of last year to ban guns. And it's also been brought to my attention, too, that they had a bill in the House recently that was shut down by the NDP Liberals and LeBlanc in regards to guns in this country. Now, from what I understand is that the Conservatives wanted to push forth legislation to penalize illegal gun use, i.e. criminals that have acquired illegal firearms and have stiffer penalties, kind of like what Harper tried to do back in the early 2000s. When he was prime minister, and he actually instated it. But of course, the Liberals turned around and kiboshed that because it's just, about fairness and equality, right? Legal gun owners are the criminals here. People who own guns legally, they're the bad ones. But the people that actually take the incentive to acquire something illegal and do illegal things, they're just misunderstood. And you don't understand what goes through their brains, right? That's a logic we have to deal with, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to our so-called liberal brand, right? See, what I don't get here is a minority government, okay? They're walking the line. They're walking on thin ice as we speak, okay? And there's no more speculation of an election that might be called, or it will be called in the fall, or it might be called in the spring, but we're not getting any real concrete evidence or concrete answers yet again from these so-called know-it-alls, right? They really have no fucking idea what they're doing. And honestly, after the performances I have seen from all these so-called keynote speakers and all these aficionados and great know-it-alls, they don't really give a shit, ladies and gentlemen. Right? They want to censor what you say. They want to censor what you promote. They want to take your freedom of choice, freedom of thought, assembly, association, right? And then censor it. So there's no dissent. Well, how can you prove that? How can you stop no dissent, right? You will walk this way and talk this way, and you will not talk about the government ever again, because, heaven forbid, if you disagree with us, you might be shot with a ball of administrative bullshit. Is that what they're threatening? Is that democracy? Is that how our parliament's supposed to fucking work, right? Anyway, you decide. CrustyBCanuck67 at gmail.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Instagram. You can also find me on the new Telegram application too. Please let me know what you think. Send me an email or two. I also include my writing address in the description. So if you want to write me a letter or send me a card, send me some free stuff or some swagger, please do. Let's keep the communication open and going so us independent folk can get out there and get our words out there. So you, my listeners, and listeners alike, please, you can think critical again. And I encourage it. Right? And I want to say a special thank you again out there to Adam Daniel Mazet for hosting such a great stream there this past Sunday. What a fantastic panel. And thank you out there to Julie Davis and Gabriel Scheer and Chris Sochuk, Veterans Voice Advocate, and others that have joined, and especially Miss Sheila Gunn Reid from the Rebel Media herself. She made an appearance in the show. And what a great conversation we all had about the lockdowns and what have you. Interesting. So I highly suggest, ladies and gentlemen, you check out the Adam Daniel Mazet podcast and his Fast Thoughts too on YouTube as well. A very inquisitive and articulate and detailed man, you know, actor, director, writer, creator, and just a free thinker, and just incredible. And I'm very, very fortunate to be part of his broadcast, and I give accolades where they're due. So please check out his work too. Another special hello and thank you out there to Frank P. Vaughn for keeping up the words of wisdom. Keep plugging out the information. And my buddy out of Massachusetts, Fred Stockman, too, an inquisitive young man. So please, if you get a chance, check out all their work. I'll leave links in the description. And this Sunday, too, I'll be part of the panel. Regardless if it's Super Bowl Sunday or not, we'll still have our panel up and running. As far as I know, just been verified. So tune into that, too, every Sunday at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. The Hidden Gem live stream goes on live. So please ask all your questions and inquiries to all of us there on said panel. And my next live stream will be on the 11th of February. That might change too, but pay attention to that. 11th of February, I'll do another live stream on YouTube and Facebook. So you want to reach out and ask me questions, talk to me, donate, and all that good stuff. Please do. But like I say, ladies and gentlemen, keep the questions clean. If you want to be dirty and vulgar, I'll just delete you. But you want to be sincere and understand and ask me legitimate questions about the strife and the social and national issues, please do. I highly encourage it. So carrying on. Anyway, yes, more fear, more inflation, more censorship. So what else do we do, right? I've said this numerous times. How many times do we have to feel that violence might be the only solution to this predicament, right? Are we going to have to rally in the streets? Because that's always deemed illegal, apparently. You watch any of the footage from Toronto via Rebel Media or True North Media or Daniel Boardman, you will see the protests in the street and people are getting pissed off. You'll see the protest out here in Western Canada in regards to what's happening with restaurants and small businesses. Now out here we have what they call the restaurant revolution. It's fantastic. All these small businesses are opening up and taking shots as per, but they're still carrying on, trying to fight the good fight to keep sanity afloat in this world of insane justice and bullshit. Okay? So I suggest more business owners out there, if you're listening to me right now, please open your doors. What's the worst it can do? You know? What's the worst it can do? Send you more tickets, more tickets, then fine. It gives us more incentive as a community to work together to keep things going. Now, in my area where I live, we're not feeling that sting of restrictions. We're not. You know, and I've encouraged my listeners in this area too to please let me know what's going on. And if there's any bullshit going on, we can expose it. Work together on it, right? You know, we can do our own build back better. And I hate using that fucking term. But really, we can work together as a community. And that's what it takes. Every little community at one time, doing something together to help each other out. And like I've said, whether it's helping with groceries, shoveling snow, looking after walkways or pathways, helping your neighbors out the best of your ability. Little things that add up. Well, it's like what I say at the end of my show too, humanity merit wins the day. Well, I say it for a very, very valuable reason, meaning that it's okay to be good to people to the best of your knowledge, to do what you can to help people out, and then work for your goals, right? I didn't become a sergeant in the military because I cracked a few jokes and I made some senior officers laugh. I got my sergeants because I earned them, right? I merited. Every year you have to get certain ticks in the box to get ahead, and I merited, right? So I did my job. And the examples I see right now when it comes to people that are calling the shots or trying to look after our safety or to protect us from hate speech and dissent. Oh, my goodness. What are they merited for, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. Yeah, they may have a degree in this or a piece of paper that says this, or they studied here, or they studied there. And yet I have never, ever seen such a party in the history of this country that is so bloody out of fucking touch with the average citizen. Okay. Global TV actually put up a so-called poll stating that 86% of Canadians like the travel restrictions. Now, I don't know about you, and to my listeners in the Greater Toronto area and Greater Montreal areas, have any of you folk seen a poll in regards to that? Have you answered any kind of poll in regards to that? Right? I know Global TV's headquarters come out of Toronto, right? Their national broadcast comes out of Toronto. Well, Adam's going to kill me for saying that, but Toronto, out of T-Dot, right? Now, has anybody there, honestly, I would love my Toronto listeners to send me an email or comments in the YouTube and the Podbean respectively. Have they seen any kind of visual or physical poll asking them what they think about the travel restrictions that the potato puppets have just promoted? Please let me know, crustybcanuck67@gmail.com, or on Twitter and Facebook. Please reach out, join the page, all that good stuff. Right? Let me know, please. Anyway, here's a word from my sponsors.
In October of 2015, Lindsay Robbins, like many of her fellow Canadians, was struggling with the turmoil of mental illness. The ups and downs of what she was going through was shaping her realities, and she longed for structure. As luck would have it, that structure presented itself to her in the form of gardening. And through gardening, Lindsay had an awakening that led her to create Produce for Heroes. Lindsay realized that our veterans were going through their own mental struggles, and through her own experience, she realized the power of community. By desiring to help the way that she had been helped, she has created a program that provides relief to veterans. Her food program, which aims to provide veterans and their families relief from the stresses of food insecurity and help alleviate the cost of living for those that have sacrificed so much for their country. Whether it's through directly contacting Produce for Heroes or through a friend's referral, all veterans and their families living in Canada are welcome. By shining a light on the struggle of veterans and their families, Lindsay is hoping to get her fellow Canadians to hop on board and support Produce for Heroes and our great veterans. If you or a veteran you know needs help, ProduceForHeroes.com is a great place to start.
This is Brian Boucher, the new CEO of Canuck Gold Corp. We have gold at 99% purity with discounts ranging from $100 up to $200 off the ounce. This is the right place to buy, from 2-gram cards to 400-ounce bricks. We have any quantity of gold you are looking for. We also sell by the ton, not like your ex-wife. Visit us today at canudgold.com, C-A-N-U-N-D gold.com.
Well, smack my ass and call me Judy.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can reach Brian and Scott at canudgold.com and Lindsay at Produce for Heroes. Links will be in the description under the heading Sponsorship. Yes, carrying on with more of the 1984 Part 2. Inflation, censorship, depression, ? And fear. That's basically what it is, ladies and gentlemen. They're just incorporating fear. Fear of the unknown, to keep telling us what they so-called want to tell us, right? All these parties that want to get together, all these little aficionados and so-called wingnut experts telling us what we can see, what we can do, what we can say here when it comes to censoring online activity. Okay, where else does it start? I remember back in high school, I remember actually seeing a list of books that we weren't allowed to read based on the Board of Education at that time. And I don't remember every exact detail, but I do remember the fact that we could not read the book Deliverance because it had homosexual connotations in it, i.e. meaning a guy got raped by another guy. So, to sum it all up, regardless of how you feel in the political spectrum, however you feel about this or about that, about who gets married, who doesn't get married, the thing being, when any governing body tells you you can't look at something, or you can't see something, or you can't say something, or read something, we know there's a goddamn problem. Now, I'm not saying go out there and buy yourself a copy of Deliverance, right? Why not? It's actually a pretty good fucking story. It's about brotherhood, compassion, and survival. when you are under insurmountable odds, right? And regardless, I remember seeing the movie with Burt Reynolds too, so it was quite disturbing at the time. But that never stopped me from watching it and enjoying it. And it didn't turn me into some weirdo. It didn't turn me into some rapist. It didn't turn me gay. So what was the issue? And at that time, I wasn't really allowed to ask my instructor / teacher / know-it-all / overseer, why can't we read this? Her excuse was, well, because it has homosexual tendencies in it. And I'm like, what? Anyhow, that was the excuse I got back in about 1989. So 31 years later, or correction, 32 years later, pardon my mathematics, what has changed, right? These same people are sitting around talking about how we have to fix the environment because of climate emergency. We have to stop this pandemic, and we have to censor what we do. Meanwhile, we're running out of money. Meanwhile, people are still locked down, right? Meanwhile, people are still being told where they can walk, where they can't walk, where they can talk, where they can feel, where they can pray, where they can't pray, right? How is that fair? How is that just? How is that democratic? You know, when I sit in the panel every Sunday night with Adam Daniel Mazet and his crew, we discuss this all the time. I'm a firm believer in democracy, ladies and gentlemen, especially our parliamentary system, right? Because I believe in peace, security, and freedom to choose however life you want to live. I don't care if you know Bob and Steve and they get married and they have some bum fun, knock themselves out. Who cares? How is your lifestyle being compromised if you know that's going on? Not that it matters, and it's nobody's business, right? I don't give a shit who gets together. I don't care who gets married. I don't care how you identify. Honestly, I really don't. And I've had some criticism over the past few months in regards to my stance about the whole transgender rights issues. And they're just as human rights as what you and I have. I really don't care. I don't care how you identify, right? But I don't really think we need the emphasis on your pronouns or emphasis on how you identify. That's up to you. You, the individual, you decide that. And with those decisions, you take responsibility, like everybody else, to deal with it, to deal with the consequences. It's that simple, right? But as people are worrying about these identities and worrying about these feelings and worrying about their heart being broken, they're not looking at the big picture when it comes to what plans are being made for us on a daily level, right? What plans are being pushed forward in regards to censorship, right? Now, in high school, the book 1984 was mandatory reading to give us insight and a point of view, and inadvertently as a warning based on history, on how many leaders have come and gone and tried to stop people from doing this and stop people from doing that, i.e. like speaking, reading, and, eating, that kind of stuff. And yet we're seeing it every day creeping ever so closer. Okay? I would like to sit and have a conversation with Mr. Guilbeault, honestly, and ask him what is his logic and what is his basis on these legislations he wants to push forward. And to everybody that backs him up, what exactly is your foundation for this? Huh? You want to do the kumbaya? Let's sit around the drum circle and play some drums and smoke some cheap weed and just get along? Well, hey, I like to smoke weed. And in fact, I actually enjoy a good marijuana cigarette with a nice glass of red wine and listening to the finer sounds of 2112 by Rush. But that doesn't goddamn mean you can tell me what to think and what to say and what to do. Right? You never walked in my fucking shoes. To quote Eddie Murphy, you don't own me. What have you done for me lately? Right? Exactly. And what has this government done for the Canadian people lately? You've lied to us about procurement. You've lied to us about vaccines. You've lied to us about the pandemic. So-called, quote-unquote, know-it-all health officials could make up their fucking mind last year when it came to restrictions, when that option was on the table. But no, of course not. They can't do that because that would be racist if you stop doing that. And yet you can take Canadian citizens off a plane when they land in an airport, lock them up for 3 or 4 days at their expense, all in the name of this pandemic. Right? So what a joke. What a contradiction. Honestly, what a fucking contradiction. How else do you trust this? So I honestly think it's grounds to call another election, ladies and gentlemen. And I've had people speculate saying, well, if they call an election now, Justin's going to win and he'll get a majority because of what? Because of all the handouts he's given? And how long are those handouts going to last, too? If we're going to be heading to a depression, if we're going to be heading to an economic fall, how long do you think these handouts are going to fucking last? Right? And what gets me, too, is that when they keep passing this legislation in regards to our guns and to censorship and to vaccine procurement, all these people are still getting paid quite a hefty fucking paycheck. Okay? Now, I appreciate some people in the opposition sitting there saying, look, enough is enough. Let's get the ball going here. Let's get people back to work. Okay? And we'll tilt my hat to Mr. Kenny for actually lifting some of the restrictions. But ladies and gentlemen, we have to see a little more fucking cojones, a little more balls in the mix. And let's have some of these premiers and mayors and reeves stand up and learn to say the magical fucking word, no. Learn how to say no to pathetic legislation. Learn how to say no to fucking fear. Learn how to say no to totalitarian regimes. Learn how to say no to communist China. Learn how to say no to foreign fucking interest that wants to keep our oil in the ground. And maybe save it for a rainy day at someone else's expense. Anyway, tell me what you think. CrustyBCanuck67@gmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter, Facebook, the Gab application, Telegram, or you can comment here on YouTube and on Podbean respectively. And don't forget to please comment, share, like, and subscribe. Pass it all around. And a special thank you to my new recent subscribers out there. I've had some wonderful comments and suggestions from my new subscribers, so thank you very much. Please share this stuff around. The more you share, the more you comment, the more it gets the algorithm going in there, and the more it's going to help people out. So they can listen to this show and other shows, as I mentioned, and make up their own minds, make their own decisions. Somehow we're missing that in this day and age. Well, the mob mentality is turning into just a glorified digital and social witch hunt all over again. Okay? Which brings me to the point of that little girl in Toronto that the Rebel just reported on. Her name is Phoenix. And to paraphrase and sum it all up for you is, here's a little girl who took the incentive to help out the homeless, to feed the hungry. Quite the little humanitarian, too. And she was harassed by police. And this little girl actually had some death threats from people. And threats of legal action and just some nasty comments. Now, my concern is this. Here's a 13-year-old girl that tries to be humane, tries to be kind, tries to be good to people, and she's being persecuted and chastised for it. And yet, where are the people chastising the We Foundation for their half-assed fucking, we're going to save humanity based on millions of dollars? Where were they being chastised? How many people were chastising Greta Thunberg when she was on her quest to save the world? Right? Now, I've had a few comments from people when I criticized her efforts. People saying to me, how dare you persecute a little girl out there trying to save the planet? How dare you say nasty things about her? And it's not about her personally. It's about her caretakers and her handlers trying to promote an agenda where they haven't presented any viable solution. And yet here's a 13-year-old girl from Ontario who has went out, handed out blankets and food, and actually reassured some of Toronto's less fortunate that everything's going to be okay. So she's taken action and given solutions. So that's where the difference is, ladies and gentlemen. When you see kids or young people of any sort, any color, creed, or gender or identity, and they take that initiative to do something wonderful, I think we should bloody fucking back them up. What say you? Right? I think we should take the incentive to give them a boost and actually learn from their example. Right? There's a novel idea. Right? So instead of worrying about censorship and worrying about these fucking clowns who want to call the shot for us, how about all of us en masse go out and do things like that too? And then we can hold up our signs saying, censor this, with a big middle finger up in the air. Right? That's my logic. And I've also encouraged people, too, to get out there and talk to your local MPs and MLAs and representatives, respectively. And if need be, tie up the phone lines. Give them lots of calls. Send them lots of emails. And if these people end up blocking you or threatening any kind of legal action when you've done nothing illegal, then maybe they're not the people that should represent you properly. So all the more reasons to think of another election too, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I'll leave links in the description about this girl named Phoenix who done some wonderful things. And you decide, folks. And I'll also find a link to that article from the Calgary Herald a few weeks back towards that lieutenant colonel who's actually had some training when it comes to emergency management. And you read his article too in regards to what he has to say about how they're dealing with this pandemic. And he uses points from the last big fires they had up at Fort Mac and everything too. So he's quite the artistic and brilliant individual. And like I said, I'm not saying that again because he's ex-military. It's just, here's a guy who fucking knows how to get things done. And we don't have that in Ottawa, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have enough people that know how to get things done. Like I said, we have healthy opposition, healthy critics, but we're not getting the word out there. So let's harass the mainstream media. Let's condemn them for lying. And let's put more of these people on the spot and make them answer the tough fucking questions. And let's get the ball rolling. Open up the stores. End the lockdowns. Okay? End the lockdowns. And there's plenty of services out there that are going to help people too with these unfair tickets and fines too. Rebel Media does a great job on fighting the fines. So I'll leave a link to them as well for you to decide. Right? And please, if anybody is fined or given a ticket for doing their own thing, going about their daily lives to the best of their ability, please contact Rebel Media and they'll give you a hand with that. They won't pay the ticket, but they'll give you legal representation. No charge to you. And that's a great thing. So another example of people helping people, ladies and gentlemen, right? Something to think about in this spectrum of bullshit and chaos, right? I'm not pleased. You've heard me rant on it, but I'm not pleased with the way things are being run here. And we're getting individuals in this country that think they know what's best based on some half-assed education or some half-assed idea in the name of safety and ending hate speech. There's always going to be people out there that are going to hate something or someone. We know that. And I can honestly say that you and I were not raised in households where your father would say this about this race of persons, or your mother would say this about this gender, or anyone of that matter. I can honestly say that based on everyone I have talked to, and as long as I'm doing this podcast, I would like to think we're generally good and sane and fair. Really. I can honestly say that I have met maybe 7 people in my life that, as far as I can remember, that were genuine racists. Genuine, belligerent, bigoted racists. But here's the kicker, though, too, ladies and gentlemen. 2 of those individuals were white. So that puts something in perspective, okay? So racists come in all colors and creeds. And screw the narrative about how this person can't be racist because, or this person's oppressed because. Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. We got to find the truth. I wasn't raised in a bigoted household. I've been very fair with people most of my life, and I try to be a decent human being, and I try to be a better man every day. But when you hear this bullshit about censorship and this crap about racial divide, you're just instilling more fear. And that's what they want. We got to do better. Right? What say you? CrustyBCanuck67@gmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Gab, Telegram, and the new Signal application. Please send me an email. Send a comment on YouTube as well. Share this around and click the notification bell when new content comes your way. Right? Let me know what you think, folks. You got to get the conversation going. And please, if you get a chance, check out my customized girls shop. Crusty Canuck swagger. You can find yourself some great t-shirts, hats, caps, ball caps, patriotic gifts for the men, and swimsuits for the ladies. If you use the code right now between now and February 28th of this year, use the code capital PWSS, all capitals, you save yourself 20% on your next purchase. So I say again, use the code capitals PWSS and get yourself 20% off Crusty Canuck swagger today between now and the 28th of February. And I'll post that on my Facebook page too. right? Just to keep you updated. And I'll also post to my community page. And please look at my community page and Facebook pages for updates on what's going on with the Crusty Canuck podcast. Like I said, I'm going to try to get some more guests on the go here, get some more people in the loop, right? And keep the information going and promote freedom of speech as it should, as we all should, ladies and gentlemen. Promote our rights. There's a lot of people that aren't with us today. Some of those individuals I've known personally that were out defending freedom and democracy. And they're not here with us today. We all have grandparents and uncles that have served in one capacity to defend this country and its interests. Let's all start defending this country and all of our interests, internally that is. Prosperity, peace, freedom, and security. The ability to go to work, to make your own decisions, do what you want, to see what you want, to read what you want, to hear what you want, to watch what you want. All at your own expense, without any kind of government oversight reaching in, telling you, oh, don't think this way, you must walk this way. Right? Fuck that. Fuck that in a big hurry. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, on this beautiful 2nd of February, Groundhog Day, I don't think any rodents have seen their shadows, but, yeah, another safe to assume another 6 weeks of winter. That's no big difference. I think we can handle it. And I think we can handle these upcoming events too. With perseverance, dedication, and love for this nation, and love and respect for our fellow Canuck. We can do what we can. We can overcome. And I try to be optimistic. I want to see violence, but it's creeping, folks. Anyway, like I said, I'm Crusty Canuck. And look after your friends and your loved ones. Do what you can to help each other out. And remember, humanity and merit wins the day. And I'll see you next time. Take care for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are.